Hey guys! So, a while back, I took my WRX out to go get some gas and some Red Bull, and while I was in the gas station, I heard this loud bang sound. And when I came out, a semi had backed into the WRX, and it had smushed in my Rally Innovations Ultimate Light Bar. It had smashed the lower two fog lights, but luckily the rest of the car was completely unscathed, so the Rally Innovations Light Bar took the brunt of everything. So massive shout out to them though. That thing has saved my WRX from so many different bumps and scuffles and things like that. But anyway, so long story short is that the truck driver is super chill about it. Their insurance got me a check to replace everything from the bent light bar to the broken fog lights, and even labor to have it all installed. I install it myself, but nonetheless, it was nice that they were willing to toss that in. That being said, I took that money and instead I went ahead and put it all towards the Time Attack car. So that got the S2000 new wheels and tires, and so in the end, the poor WRX ended up rolling around with 2 less fog lights, and I did bend the whole thing back into place so it's all straight and everything. So in the very least, that light bar got to live another life, but I've been meaning to upgrade my lighting for a while now, and since we have not just one, but 2 night rallycross events coming up here pretty soon, I couldn't think of a better time to actually go ahead and upgrade my lighting setup so I could actually see where I'm going. Because no fault to the Hella Blackmagic 500s, but they are somewhere between a high beam and a driving light, which means that they're not really much brighter than my current lighting setup on the car from the factory. They just let me put light in more places. So that being said, I went ahead and reached out to my friends over at Diode Dynamics, and yeah, today, or actually rather this weekend, we're going to be installing these. So yeah, the WRX is officially ready. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start tearing out the old wiring out of the car because I'm really not super happy with how the fuse box location turned out, because I started doing it all without the battery in the car, and so there was plenty of clean. There's like a solid like 4 or 5 inches of clearance between where I mounted the fuse box and the engine, and then I went and installed the battery and realized everything needed to shift closer, so the fuse box is in a terrible spot and it's been melting fuses. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and move the fuse box inboard on the car, so probably put it inside the car somewhere, get everything all wired up, and then, like I said, hopefully tomorrow we're going to go... Thanks, camera. Anywho, hopefully tomorrow we're going to go ahead and get all the new stuff installed. But, like I said, today is just going to be pulling all the old stuff out. So I ended up going with their SS3 Lightpods, and I got one driving optic and one flood optic, and you can kind of see how the difference between these two. The flood optic is designed to be way more dispersed. I wanted to get the round ones because I kind of wanted to emulate my old lights that you can see. They're way smaller, which was a little bit of a disappointment, but at the end of the day, these lights are going to be way better than what I was using before. I also decided that since I had a fog light go out, I was going to go ahead and upgrade to their HID fog light kit, because why just replace a bulb if I've got a sponsorship to use to put something way better in? So you'll also see me crawling around and installing these in the video as well. Alright, so it's day 2. I went ahead and took care of a few things yesterday that were just like tiny little things that were boring, and now Trevor's here. Say hi, Trevor.
How's it going, guys?
So basically what we're going to go ahead and do is, since yesterday I realized that I'm going to go ahead and put the fuse box in the fender like I said before. So since half the wiring doesn't need to get done, it's not nearly as bad, because this takes like... Trevor can say, like, the sleeving is like the part that takes like 18 million years.
It's the worst.
So that was half the reason why when he offered to help, I was like, hell yeah, because I don't want to spend another 4 hours sleeving things. But now we only have to do this section. So basically we've got, this is, like I said, it's my old setup, but basically you've got power from relay here, you've got a ground wire here, and then the whole setup is just symmetrical. And originally I had these kind of tied in together into one cable that ran to the fog lights. So basically we're just going to try and replicate that. We are going to go ahead and chop off my old little pigtails and put on some new stuff because this all needs to be longer. But in the meantime, it's time to get soldering stuff. Whee! Alright guys, so quick update. Finally got the HID stuff figured out. So thanks again, Trevor. You're great. So basically we just had to cut ourselves this little clearance slot in the factory housing. And you know, that should get all sealed up once we tighten this down with the little O-ring that comes on there. And basically this takes the power from the back end, you know, where the connector normally connects, and then reroutes it all the way back out to the entire little, you know, the ballasts, and then the light actually gets all of its power from that. So, you know, wasn't crazy hard to figure out, but at the end of the day, it's always nice to have somebody to ask. Anywho, we're going to keep on going, and we're going to try and get the first one of these installed and tested out. Alright, so we finished getting everything all wired up and stuff, so, you know, now you can see we've just sort of got everything wired up for testing. So this loom usually goes back in the car, but obviously it's nice to not have to stand in the car to flip switches. So, you know, here, you want to do the honors?
Sure. So we already got power to them?
Battery should be hooked up, yeah. Ah, God, that hurts my eyes. Ah! All right, cool. So we've got that all wired up, and also, Trevor, if you do me the pleasure of holding on to this.
Yes, absolutely.
We're gonna test out a little bonus that I got hooked up. So hold on one second. I gotta actually get keys and put them in the car. Hold on. All right. So I went ahead. I didn't mention this in the beginning because they're not a sponsor or anything like that, but I went ahead and also tossed in some extra fun stuff. So let's see if this works. You know, it helps when you actually, you know, connect all of your stuff.
No.
I forgot to, or not, I don't need to connect anything. It's remote operated. Alright. So, let's see if this works.
Ooh.
Alexa, turn off the lights. There we go. It's not too bad. And it's cool. It's got cool little disco modes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I figured I'd toss that in for fun. I was originally going to use the Diode Dynamics ones, but unfortunately, they were back ordered and I didn't have the foresight to get everything set up beforehand. So these will do for now, but in the future, the S2000 is going to be running the Diode Dynamics one. So, you know, hopefully we'll see more silliness, because obviously Underglow is making a comeback. But in the meantime, now it's just a matter of getting everything all tidied up and buttoned up. Okay, so we officially now have all of the underglow stuff all zip tied up, so there's nothing hanging down like there was before. I need to, the original brackets that came with this light bar, they were just loose and wobbly originally, and I just dealt with it for years. So I'm gonna go to Home Depot, get some like little L brackets, or find something that I can drill holes into, and then we'll get those guys mounted. But as of now, we got the HIDs tested. Those are working just fine. The LED pods are working just fine. And like I said, hopefully here in a little bit, I'll go ahead and get you guys a shot of everything in action, as well as some of the extra lights that I've added on. So it's going to be a fun event. I'm going to be blinding a lot of people, though. So I'm going to feel like a jerk. But it'll be fun. So yeah, the WRX is officially ready for the night rallycross event coming up. Toot toot! Alright, so this is the light output with just the factory headlights, which, you know, I was like, it's okay. But I'm going to ruin my view on this camera here real quick, and hopefully the other camera will capture this just fine. But we're going to go ahead and turn on first. Oop, going to realign this. This is with the floods, which those are way more dispersed, but their driving lights are all of that. Like, all that extra bit. And again, the worst thing is it really doesn't capture it well on photo, but you can kind of see how the floods go all the way out there to the side, and then these are the driving lights that go all the way out there, and they're just wicked bright in multiple directions. And I wish the camera captured this better, but this is what the diode lights were doing for me when I was out rallycrossing. I absolutely love these things. So I also realized that I had my light on with my camera, so I'm going to turn that off. But I also realized that I forgot to talk about the HID retrofit, because yeah, I forgot it. So again, I'm going to awkwardly do this because I'm just one man. And so this is, if you turn on the HIDs, you can see how that gives you way more light output on the ground in front of the car than, again, the flood lights and then the driving lights. Like, legitimately, this is just freaking awesome.